Good morning, good morning. So, a few of my subscribers have always been telling me that they would like to raise some animal, they want to do some farming, and they have been asking, is pig business a profitable business? Well, before I answer that question, I would say it all depends on how you go about it. Because the most important thing when it comes to raising pigs is having a good market, having someone who is always ready to purchase the animals. Because no matter how your animal look amazing and they're well kept, if you don't have someone who is ready to purchase, they're going to get old and you are not going to be able to feed them and also continue. So let's say you're going into pig farming, and you can be going into goat farming, chicken, you can be raising layer for eggs or whatever animal you're raising. One of the first thing you have to try to seek is, how am I going to get it sell? That's the first thing you should bear in mind. Right, Piggy? So one of the second thing now is you have to know something about the animal. You have to know how to take care of the animal. You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to be buying chicken. You don't know what type of feeding they're supposed to get. You don't know what kind of medicine they're supposed to get. You don't know when it's time to butcher them. You have to know something about the animal. For example, these pigs have been on the farm around a month and a half now. Not even 2 months. The next 2 weeks time, they will be here for 2 months. And yesterday I butchered one of them, and that one was weighing 80 pounds. Now, you have to know how much animal you'll be able to take care of. If you know you can feed 5 pig, buy 5 pig. Don't buy 15 pig and you're only able to feed 5 of them. They won't be getting the right amount of feed that they're supposed to get. And when the animal should have been reached the requirement in around 2 or 3 months, you're having that animal up to 6 months and they're going to be chill. The meat is not going to be soft, so that means your customer is not going to be enjoying the product. So one of the thing is, when you sell someone your meat, whether it's chicken meat, goat meat or whatever, and they enjoy it, you're most likely to see that person support you again. Another thing that you need to bear in mind is a proper water system. Pigs drink water 24/7. They will just taste the water to just always having something to rely on. So it's best to install Nipple. Nipple is very cheap. When I just started raising animal, I normally just put a pan on the ground and I would just throw some water inside of it. But when the animal drink the water and they feel as if they're full, they will just start playing in the water, turn it over, wobbling it, and then they're out of water for the next 3-4 hours. So it's best to get your nipples installed, connect it to even a little drum if you cannot be able to buy a tank as yet. One day you'll be able to buy a tank. Like I said, start out small. You're not going to be able to understand the whole process at first. But when you just start out, you will, eventually start catching on and understanding the things that you need to get rid of and the things that you also need to implement. Some people raise animals for butchering. Some people raise animals to produce winners, baby pig. Well, I used to do both, but for now I am just raising animals for butchering. So just like I said, you have to understand who you're going to be selling your animals to. So even if you decide I want to raise animal to produce winners, you have to understand, how am I going to take care of these winners? At what age the mother is supposed to get pregnant? What am I supposed to give to the mother for her to produce better or more healthier pigs? All of these things you have to put in consideration. Another thing, if you look on the animal's skin, all the hair lying down, and it seems as if they have only baby hair on them. This is when you worm out your pig on time. So the pig is supposed to get worm out like every 30 to 40 days. So at least once per month. I normally worm out the pig like the first of every month. So when your pigs constantly get their worm out, they will be shedding off all the furry hair and they will be having only little baby hair on them. And that will help them to produce more, because if they're eating the feed and they have so many worms inside of them, pigs have around 13 different worms inside of them. If they're eating the feed and they have so many different worms inside of them who is also eating the feed, they won't be producing. You will just be feeding and feeding, and the growth won't be there. So you have to know the type of injection to give your animal for them to get the proper iron, antibiotic that they need if they, if one of them got sick. And some of the benefit that you get from, when the animal get the right medicine and also have constant water to drink is when you're butchering them, these here, they will come off so easily. So the butchering will be an easier process. And also, anyone who buy your animal, they will definitely enjoy that meat. Big business is a profitable business, but it's also a very tricky business. Let me explain. For this year, you can make $2-3 million profit in pigs, and the next year you can be in bankruptcy, because sometimes the market, it fluctuates. Sometimes the price of the pork gone way down and the feed gone a little bit higher. And sometimes you have so many pigs, like everyone is raising pigs at the moment. And when the buyer need to buy animal, because they have so many customers to pick, choose and refuse, they will bring down the price to the lowest. So another thing in farming is, as farmer, you have to cooperate. And you cannot just, say, okay, I am going to buy 30 pigs. And when I am selling them, if the current price on the market is for $350 or $400 a pound or even $300, you cannot say, okay, I'm going to buy 30 pigs and I'm just going to raise my 30 pigs and sell them for $200 a pound. Because if you do that, what is going to happen is that the buyer is not going to want to pay any one of the farmer over $200 a pound again. And then you just come inside of the business 1 minute and you're not dedicated to it. That is definitely going to be, causing all the farmer to be fighting to get back their original price. Well, as for me, I have a little secret in which I sell animal, and I'm always having market to sell animal, meaning I always have customer who is ready to buy from me. It's because I treat my customer fair. That's one of the first thing you have to bear in mind. Don't try to rip off your customer, because you're not just doing a one-day business. You're doing a thing that is, continuing. So you have to treat your customer fair. Also, you have to learn how to, encourage your customer. I do things like, when I have a person who buy, pig from me this several times, I give them some extra weight on it. So there's a time when I will butcher an animal and the animal will weigh 100 pounds, and I tell the buyer to pay me for 80 pounds. I give them a 20 pound on it. You cannot do that every time, But once a while, show your appreciation. So one more thing now, pray about what you do before you do it. Don't just, see someone else doing something and you think, oh, this is going to work for me as well. Ask God to lead you, and He will show you the right thing that you're supposed to be doing. So maybe you want to raise some chicken, you want to raise some pigs, you want to raise some layer to produce some eggs, you want to raise rabbit, goat, whatever you want to raise, cow. Just, pray about it, and also try to study the process. Don't just jump into it. And anything you're going into, start small. Don't try to start too big. I've seen people who said that they're going to raise chicken, and the first time they went to buy, they buy 1,000 chicken and build a very big coop. And then when it's time to sell the chicken, they have so many chicken on fridge, they can't get a buyer to buy the chicken, because they didn't even think about these things. They just think they saw someone else raising 1,000 chicken and say, okay, I'm going to buy 1,000 chicken as well. That person start out from 50 chicken, and they slowly, gaining new customer and going through the struggle, being dedicated to what they're doing, trying to figure out, things slowly before they reach up to 1,000. So start small, learn to creep before you can walk. You can be raising animals for the first 2 years and you don't get a chance to save $1,000. Every single money you make, you have to put it back into the business. So it takes a lot of dedication, and you have to be persistent. You have to be determined. Sometimes you feel as if you're going to want to give up, but just, keep questioning things. Keep trying to figure out things. And once you are interested, I am telling you, you will definitely make something out of it. But you have to be determined, and you have to be willing. Yes, you cannot just put in your all this month and next month you forfeit. It doesn't work like that. You have to be committed before you can start seeing changes. So as you can see, everyone eat, and who is not tired is still enjoying the water. So yeah, water is very important. Make sure you have that before you decide to raise any animals at all. So I hope this video give a little encouragement to all the people who would like to do some farming, and also it open up your eyes to be aware of certain things before you fall into certain trap. So remember, walk before you start running.